Can someone tell me, how do you home from work? I mean, work from home. I'm going to share my top 9 tips for working from home. I've been working from home, wherever that may be, for the past 7 years now. So I have a few things to share. And actually, this was a question that someone submitted. Kelly T, thank you for your question, and here's your answer. So step number 1, ensure a solid internet connection. So you could be anywhere, but if you are at home, this is not something to skimp on, ensuring that you, let's say, upgrade, get the high-speed internet to make sure that you can be as efficient and effective as possible to avoid those Zoom crashes and those delays that can happen if it weren't a priority. Okay, step 2, lighting is super important. You may want to invest in a ring light. You can get ones that clip onto your computer, but I find, you know what, go big or go home. And since you're home, you can also go big, okay? And this is particularly most important if you are creating content. If you are giving presentations where, let's say, that potential client, it does make an impact, right? How you're showing up, especially if you're speaking with press or if you're creating a video representing your company, you want to be sure that you have good lighting. And ideally, you have your desk situated where a window is in front of you. So a mistake that I've seen time and time again, and I've been guilty of this, you think, oh, wouldn't it be great to have a window behind me because then people can see the beautiful lush greenery? No, what ends up happening is that you look like a shadow and the background, people can see all the beautiful greenery, they can't see you anymore. So if you had to choose, definitely have that window in front of you, and then you have the added mental health benefits of seeing that beautiful skyline or greenery yourself. Another aspect of lighting actually has to do with your mood. Let's say that you're all set up, you have your window right in front of you, but there is no sun. The light, you have your ring light, but you know what, you're feeling kind of sad. Seasonal affective disorder exists, and what I recommend to you is if it's getting a little bit dreary outside, invest in a sun lamp. What a sun lamp is it mimics natural sunlight so that when you start to feel understandably sad, it gives you a similar feeling that you would get if the sun were shining on your face. And you can just have that situated right next to your desk, beaming on you. Step number 3, I want you to get up out of your chair every hour. So whether that be for a quick stretch, whether that be for a little walk, it could be for 1 minute, it could be for 5 minutes. This will actually make you more productive. So contrary to popular belief that says that, oh yeah, you need to just work for 6 hours straight, you may find that there's a certain amount of time where you're really in the zone. Maybe that can even be a couple of hours, but there's something about not allowing yourself hit that wall where you feel uninspired or you feel depleted. So to avoid that, allow yourself, set a timer at the top of every hour, for example, to remind yourself to stand up, stretch. Before, make sure that you get some in-person socializing time. So when I first started working from home, I got pretty comfortable. I would oftentimes be in a robe. I actually got some robes that looked like clothing, or at least I think they did. So people that say, oh, wear a blouse on top and peaches on the bottom. Sometimes you can be all PJs all the time, but don't stay that way, okay? I highly encourage you to get in the routine of right after your working hours are done, get dressed, go out somewhere, go to dinner, go, or even during the day, have a meeting. And while it's safe to do so, right, ensure that you are face-to-face, getting that socializing time that's not in front of a screen. Okay, 5th, ergonomics. Ergonomics, have you heard of this? It's essentially, you want to do this with your desk setup. You want to do this with your chair. It ensures that since you're spending so much time sitting, you're not effing up your back in the process, okay? Or your neck, or your shoulders. So you can search by ergonomic chairs that have a certain curvature to them, for example. And it's very rarely going to serve you to just have your laptop on a flat surface. So when I'm on the road, I typically put a few books on top of the other to have some sort of elevation. But what's even more ideal than that is to get a platform that's a little bit tilted, that mimics how your hands naturally would like to rest on the keyboard. So I'll go ahead and link one that I really like, that when I'm not traveling, I've used. Okay, number 6, consider a 4-day work week. Okay, not to be confused with Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week, although goals. What I'd like you to consider is choosing 4 days of the week to be uber productive, because when you're not physically in the office, chances are that you have fewer distractions. There isn't necessarily someone next to you who's like, oh my gosh, this cat video, look at this right now. So what you actually have the luxury of doing is something that I call front loading. You can decide all of your projects for the week. You can really go all in on Monday. And there's always more work to be done, but consider having let's say the first 4 days of the week really work heavy. And then Friday, let's say if you typically don't have that many calls, consider allowing yourself to focus more on your output than your hours long. This is an entrepreneurial mindset. It will not work for every work environment, but if you have the flexibility and freedom to experiment, I recommend this. Number 7, have a distinction between where you work and where you live. So particularly if you are working from home, that can be a little bit challenging. So let's say that you have a home office, easy peasy. Maybe you only do work in that home office. Try not to use it for recreation or other things. And certainly can be tempting, but let's not work in your bed. That can also disrupt sleep later on. So if you don't have a specific room, what you can even do is decide, let's say that there's a certain chair or a specific orientation within a space that you commonly use that is only for your work. So even if, let's say you have 2 bar stools at your kitchen, maybe one of the chairs you sit in and you have meals or you're talking on the phone or whatever, and the other one, you are in work mode and you are in that chair. Number 8, have a consistent sleep and waking schedule. So working from home, one of the first things that can feel really invigorating and liberating is the ability to sleep in. So I know that I have totally been guilty of, let's say if my working hours hypothetically start at 10 a.m., what if you got up at 9:45? Because you don't need that much time to get ready, but it becomes sort of this experiment with yourself where you typically couldn't cut it so close, where you really maximize that sleep. But I'm going to give you another tip after this one that will let you know why that is less than ideal. But for now, considering getting up at the same time every day, even on weekends, will actually make you more productive and you'll feel happier, you'll feel better. Trust me, try it out for a couple weeks. 3 weeks makes a habit. Try it for at least 3 weeks. And I also recommend that you give yourself a 9-hour sleep opportunity to get 8 hours of sleep. So let's say that you're starting at around 9 in the morning. Then maybe you want to get up at 8 in the morning. Then what you'll do is go to sleep at 11 to have that 1 hour wiggle room if you have any disruptions or it takes you a little while to actually fall asleep. All right, number 9, I would like to invite you to exercise your body during normal commuting hours. Let's say that you didn't feel like you had the time and space to exercise before. Well, now you certainly do, okay? You do not have a commute. The typical person may spend, let's say, 20 minutes one way, an hour, 2 hours one way getting to work, and you no longer have that. So consider first thing in the morning engaging in a run, for example. So what I like to do is usually before I have breakfast or have anything, I've trained myself to engage in some type of exercise. It could be yoga for anywhere from 20 to 60 minutes. And then my body becomes hungry and it just knows it's on a schedule. And then I'm able to have a meal and then dive into work and feel the sense of accomplishment that, okay, the workout for the day is done. And then your hair will be dry by the evening, so you get to go out and do something social. So I'd like to know, did any of these tips surprise you? Are there any that you are already doing? Is there anything that you'd add? Wishing you a wonderful week from my laptop to yours. Until next time.
I would love to invite you to a clarity session with me to find out if working one-on-one is your best next step. If you are ready to up-level your confidence, diminish social anxiety, build authentic, deep connections, and rise into the level of leadership that you are destined to rise into, then let's activate that. You can go over to thestephaniemichelle.com/coaching.